Mic's rolling, camera's rolling, got the ball, walking my dog in the park, and I'm making a springtime vlog just to see the update of what's been happening recently, an update on what's going to be going ahead. So the first thing, top of the list, I've wrapped up my volunteering with Newport City Radio. I was quickly finding that I wasn't having enough time to pay attention to work that clients wanted from me. The radio station was fairly competent in their media skills, so it was an opportune time for me to kind of reclaim a lot of my time to be able to put back into my YouTube channel, my podcasting, photography, things like that. So that's the first thing. Second thing, obviously there was the Newport Music Trail on the weekend, just gone. It's Monday today, and I still need to get my pictures that I took off my other SD card onto my computer, organise those, sort those out, edit those, and send those off to each respective person. It was a decent event, decent day. I got shouted at by a woman who was well out of line, so I'll be passing messages on that chain of command to get her attitude addressed, because it was minging. You don't expect that from, you know, a council employee. So yeah, that's recent events. What else? So yeah, podcasting. So I've decided with the HotSpot series that I was so dedicated to launching last year, what happened was I started recording episodes. I was in a relationship at the time, and the relationship was quite distracting for me, which meant that I wasn't putting in the necessary attention to get the videos done. I wasn't being disciplined enough. There was a long delay. Then I continued my volunteering with Newport City Radio, which continues to take up more time because there was such a delay between episode 2 being recorded and episode 2 being finished. Where's your ball, mate? Where's your ball, Maccas? What have you done with that? You don't put it back in the bag, do you? Why are you putting balls in the bag for, mate? Yeah, obviously I'm in the park walking my dog right now. Yeah, because it was such a long delay. I spoke to the artist. I said, look, bro, I feel like we should scrap this episode. Obviously, the episode 1 with A Noise, lovely bunch of guys. Unfortunately, the day after the episode was published, the band decided to disband. So yeah, it might be a case of, when it comes to the HotSpot series, I might just literally start from scratch. Now that I've got a lot more time on my hands, I can literally commit to getting these things done. I do still have a long list of email sign-ups from local musicians. I know I was in talks with Delicious D and Sheldon the Rapper to get their interviews done, so they may very well be some of the first ones that I start with. But yeah, everything's kind of going through a bit of adjustment at the moment. MF Podcast, episode 14, my interview with Chelsea Jane, obviously that's been recorded. It's going through editing right now. I was working on that a bit this morning. It's quite a short episode, actually. It's not an hour long like some of my other podcast episodes. I'm already down to about 45 minutes, and that's not even going through it completely, taking out all the little extra, like, split little ums and ahs and bumps and stuff. It'll probably end up being a 40-minute-ish episode, which I'm fine with that. I think that's an appropriate length for kind of podcast content like that, and that may very well be the same format for MF Podcast going forward, where I interview members of Newport, members of Wales, just individuals who have contributed to culture and creativity in their own little industry. Yeah, that's probably the way the podcast is going to go, because I've put a lot of work into it. A lot of people like it. I've had a lot of success with it. My guests who come on the MF Podcast, the Middle Finger Podcast, have had positive returns from these interviews. If they provide a service, if they sell a product, usually the pattern is they will see an increase in attention for their own project or thing after an interview. So there's definitely benefits that come from it. So I'll probably be shortening the episodes to about 40 minutes, 45 minutes. Still keep them in 2 halves, but it'll be like 2 20-minute halves instead. So it'll be a lot more closer, intense, and kind of a lot more focused instead of just, waffling. And that brings me to Middle Finger Promotions. Middle Finger Promotions was a business that I launched at 18 years old back at 2010. We started off with hosting live music events. We started off with artist management, and then branched into live music events, and then obviously music distribution from there. This was 2010 to 2014. I was 18 to 22. Unfortunately, there was some personal stuff happening in my life at the time that I needed to give my full attention to, so it meant that I had to step away from everything that I was doing and focus on what was happening in my life. There was a lot of issues with homelessness, there was a lot of issues with domestic abuse, there was a lot of issues with substance abuse, loads of stuff, loads and loads of really, really unpleasant, horrific, traumatizing stuff that has kept me bogged down throughout my 20s. But that's kind of more or less majoritively wrapped up, finished when I was 31. So I decided I still own the Middle Finger brand, I still own Middle Finger Promotions. There's still work left to be done. So I relaunched the business at the end of 2022, December 2022. Yes, there was a status put out by a previous, I don't want to say employee because none of us were really employees, but a previous person I was associated with, she put out a status, and it was disgusting. It was disgusting. I messaged her beforehand. I said, look, you know, I'm going to be returning to the scene. Do you think you've got a problem with me? She blew up. She was like, I'm gonna tell everyone about you. I'm gonna make sure everybody knows how much of a bad person you are. Blah, blah, blah. I thought, great, okay, 8 fucking years we haven't spoken for, and you're just going to be a piece of shit right off the bat. Cool, fair enough. So she put out a status, and yeah, it pretty much crushed any chances for the business to have a fresh start from day one. Obviously, because we used to do live music events, it spread to a few local venue owners, one in particular, one, you know, I could defame this individual to the end of time. There's plenty of messages that I've had from people saying that this venue owner is an absolute menace. So she took it upon herself to kind of be like, right, if this person has got a problem with him, if he's getting slagged off online publicly, I'm gonna join in as well. And she went out of her way to go around to all the local venues and make sure that if any of them worked with me whatsoever, she was going to take it upon herself to make business difficult for them. And I've got emails, I've got messages of this stuff. Obviously didn't plan on sharing this kind of information in a spring vlog, but because it's related to, you know, Middle Finger Promotions trying to actually be worth something, trying to actually bring something to the community, do something for a lot of people, I'm sharing it. I've spent the past 3 years putting Middle Finger Promotions on pause, having to put my attention into the Middle Finger podcast, and it's meant that so many people have gone unserved. There's so many artists that have not been able to have events put on for them. There's so many members of the public who haven't had events to go to. I'm not saying that we were the only ones doing events. Anyone can host an event, but the people that wanted to come to our events, and I'll probably embed a few pictures into this video just to show the kind of popularity that we had back then. You know, the people that relied on us, the people that believed in us, they weren't able to do that because it had become just a messy, horrible, fucking toxic social thing. So yeah, fuck those people, man. So yeah, Middle Finger Promotions, I'm going to lean into my strengths. As much as I'd love to jump back into doing live events, I probably will. I'm probably going to end up getting the equipment to do it myself. I'm going to get a PA system, because the thing that they don't tell you about events is almost anywhere can be a venue. So if you've got the equipment to be able to host the entertainment that you're putting on, you can put your event anywhere. That's it, provided you have permission. So yes, there's probably going to be efforts to deny me permissions in places where there's no issue, but it's all right. Newport's not the only place in the world. There's a whole world out there. Yeah, so yeah, Middle Finger Promotions. I'm going to lean into my strengths. I'm still going to do video content for people. It's not going to be as long as podcast content. It's going to be short, quick, kind of 10-minute, 15-minute interview videos in a long form format, which can then be broken down into short form format. And I'll pretty much just be doing most of that, if not all of it, off my own back. The only thing that I need help with is guests to actually feature in the videos. And there's plenty of people. There's plenty of people who like me, who know me, who would love for the opportunity to work with me, would love for the opportunity to feature in some of my video content, which does do very fucking well. Thank you very fucking much. So yeah, just going to lean into my strengths. Looking at my YouTube channel as well, my YouTube channel is a bit higgledy-piggledy as well. One of the best pieces of content that works on my YouTube channel at the moment is talking about things like reputation. I've actually been reached out to people all over the world who have said, I found your video, really liked what you said about reputation, really appreciate the fact that you weren't prejudiced against anyone, really like the fact that you explained that you're allowed to be a good person, you're allowed to live a good life, you're allowed to do good things, that no one is allowed to tell you that you're not allowed to be a good person. So for any haters watching this, being like, how can I make Sonny's day difficult? How can I make Sonny's job more challenging? Get fucked. Get fucked, because your bad attitudes doesn't mean I have to be a bad person, okay? Your bad intentions, your malicious actions to try and prevent me from being a good person won't stop me from being a good person. So yeah, just get fucked. And what I'm loving as well is there's a lot of people waking up locally to this as well. Again, it's so fucking petty and toxic, and I think it stems from Newport being a small place. You know, we're all fighting over scraps. Yeah, it's a bit toxic. So yeah, the YouTube channel, I'm thinking about leaning into more kind of reputation content, more kind of, I thought it was going to be leadership, to be honest, but leadership is such a varied thing. You know, you can't lead someone that doesn't want to be led, I think is the easiest answer to give for that. But you can provide educational information for people that feel unled, people that feel abandoned, people that feel lost. You can try and light the way for them, and if they use the information, if they manage to find their way back to happy, healthy lives, which is what we all want, it's what we're all entitled to. We're all entitled to happy, healthy lives, regardless of what you think a person's actions are. The Bible says, if a person seeks repentance, if a person lays claim to the sins they've committed, if a person gives themselves over to God and repents and you know, seeks mercy, God entitles them to that. So if you think you're greater than God, get fucked, okay? Get fucked. If you think there is no God, best of luck to you. Best of luck to you, because I can vouch for that. At my lowest point in my life, when I thought I was absolutely helpless, I was sent angels. I was sent angels to sort my head out and have my back and just pull me out of the bog that I was mired in. So yeah, if you think you're better than God, give your head a wobble. YouTube, Nothing But Promotions, MF Podcast, HotSpot. Oh yeah, that's right. I've been asked to run for councillor for the ward that I live in. So I've been asked to consider running for my ward of about, I think it's about 20,000 people now. 15,000 people, 20,000 people, it's close. I've been asked by one of Newport's political parties. They've reached out to me. Some very good friends of mine, they've always had my back. They've always been very kind. They've always been very friendly. And yeah, they reached out. They said, you know, we see what you're doing. We see the good that you try and do in your community. We see all the things you do to try to help people. Would you consider running for this position under our banner? And there's conversations and meetings in place. Obviously there's checks and measures that need to happen, that have happened and are happening. But yeah, it's looking like quite possibly next year you'll see my name on a piece of paper ready for the ballot box, to see if you want me to do my best and commit time to making sure your life in my immediate vicinity is as good as it can be. And that kind of responsibility, I'm bigger than the petty people that have tried to hurt me, who have also been in these positions. I'm bigger than, you know, figures who have been in positions of authority, who have abused that authority to hold me down because of personal differences, personal disagreements, which is crazy. I'm bigger than that. So for anyone that thinks that I wouldn't have their back, regardless of who you are, if I had that position of authority, if I had that, if I had that position of responsibility, I would 100% be neutral and responsible and caring. I promise that, 100%. I promise that. I've been through pain. I've been through horrific trauma, horrific suffering, but by the hands of people very close to me. I know what pain feels like. I know what hardship feels like. And while many might argue that I'm not a good example of how to live a good life, I would argue that I'm one of the best examples of how to repair a life, how to have a good life, how to, you know, fix intangible things like reputation, like standing in the community. You know, I've gone through pain. I can relate to people with pain. I would be cautious about taking advice from someone who hasn't gone through the hardships in life, but is still prepared to try and impart advice on you like they know what you're going through. That's quite a scary thing to consider. The stuff that I've learned is you can't learn it in education. You can't learn it from a book. You know, it's one of those things that you have to go through. And I've gone through it, and I've come out the other side, and I'm squeaky clean. I've got all the paperwork in place to prove I'm an upstanding, respectable citizen. And there's more paperwork that I plan on getting that just cements that in, yeah, all its glory. Yeah, so I've been asked to consider standing locally. I'm very inclined, very interested. So I've always been interested in a political career, you know. But it's a long time between here and next year. There's a lot of things that can happen. There's a lot of career that I want to get under my belt. There's a lot of things that I want to set up for myself, for my family, for my friends. Yeah, at the moment it's a soft yes that I will stand, but we'll have to see how things go. So that's things I've got coming up. Also coming up, yeah, photo shoots. Not really planning on trying to do too many, but I've got a photo shoot tomorrow with a female boxer. She's an old friend. She's got a fight coming up. We're going to go to her gym that she trains in. I'm going to try and get some really good gym snaps there. After that, I've got a photo shoot with another friend who's getting ready. I want to say he's getting ready for wrestling. My brother, apologies if you see this. Apologies if I seem uneducated on what you're getting ready for. I know it's a sports thing. I know it's a fitness thing. I'm pretty sure it's wrestling. He's getting ready for a wrestling match. So he wants some sports photography as well, just mean looking portraits that make him look cool. So I'll get those ready, and then after that, yeah, it's pretty much clean sailing. There's a few meetings here and there. Apart from that, my time is my own. Rex, my lovely dog, my lovely puppers. He's coming up 9 months old now, so he's very. So he's a lot more mature than when I first had him. I'm able to do a lot more things in the house now. He makes so much less mess. So yeah, as long as he's looked after, he kind of lets me get on with my own thing. So I can get video editing done. I can get interviews done. So yeah, he is also now a really big part of my life, and I love him to bits. I absolutely love this dog so much. And yeah, he's a fair place with him. He's helped me heal a lot. Like I used to love shouting when I was an air cadet, when I was a teenager. One of the things I used to love was shouting drill commands, and Rex lets me do that again. Rex lets me kind of shout from my stomach, not from my throat, and he lets me project my voice again. And unbelievably, it's a really zen thing to do. If you can. Yeah, there's not many opportunities, but you get to belt your voice out in public in a semi-intimidating way without either people getting upset, people getting confused, or you looking like a right weirdo. So yeah, Rex lets me do that. If he gives me his ball, I'll give an example of that now. Can I throw your ball, mate? He's got his ball a second. He's quite knackered. He's pretty much just been running back and forth, but he likes to come to this hill, drop the ball down for me. There we go. Yeah, drop the ball down for me. I'll pick it up and I will pelt it. Good boy, well done. Well done, lovely boy. Good lads, happy days. Yeah, it's not often you get to belt like that. That's not even my loudest. I can I can cover some distances, I'm telling you. So yeah, this has been my spring update. Going forward, going into April. Yeah. Oh, my grandmother passed away 2 months ago as well. So I know it's a weird way to say it quite casually. That has contributed to a bit of emotional upset for myself. It's confusing. Me and my grandmother were really close for large portions of my life. She raised me a lot. I was allowed to stay at her house on several occasions while I was homeless. in my 20s, kicked out by my mum several times. Good boy, well done. Good, Rex. Yeah, kicked out a few times, and my nan, fortunately, was there for me on some occasions, and yeah. So we were kind of estranged for the past year and a half, again because of family, Game of Thrones bullshit, politics. So yeah, I didn't manage to say anything to her before she passed, but I have no regrets. I spent a lot of time with her. I spent a lot of time having a relationship with her. I know her very well. I've got pictures of her, I've got videos of her, I've got audio recording of her talking about things that happened in her life. I know lots about her life. And yeah, so she's passed on. So the whole family is kind of, dealing with that at the moment. It's quite emotional for some. I don't think I've fully processed those emotions, but I'm pretty good at it. Yeah, can't really think of anything else that's happened this spring. This has just been a bit of a talking head, bit of a waffle, bit of a long one. I will cut it down. I will try and make it a lot shorter. But thank you everybody that still tunes into my YouTube channel. Thank you everybody that still watches my stuff. Thank you everybody that still comments and likes and shares. Yeah, I don't try to post rage baity stuff, but sometimes I do end up posting things that end up being rage baity, like my most recent kind of post about human intelligence versus AI intelligence, and I did end up receiving quite a few unpleasant comments about that, but YouTube kind of automatically modded those. They were like, no, we're not going to talk about that. we're not going to post that one. So yeah, I don't try to do it. Rage bait's not my thing. I'm still trying to figure YouTube out, to be honest. Newport doesn't have a particularly strong YouTube community. There is a Facebook group, but it's, again, all of us are kind of, we're figuring it out our own way. Usually if I'm outside I would record something with my iPhone 15 Pro Max, but today I'm recording it on my Canon R8. This is not sponsored by either Apple or Canon. I'd love a sponsor by either Apple or Canon, preferably Canon, no offense Apple. But yeah, I'm focusing on my content creator stuff, my social media management stuff, my podcasting stuff. That's what I'm committing to. That's what I see the long-term career in. So just to wrap it up, thank you everybody. Peace.